Hopefully we're recording properly now. This will be a little cost volume video by popular demand. So one of the problems looks very similar to this, it's just a different set of numbers. And we have three kinds of costs here. We have costs that are 100% fixed. In this example, that would be professional fees. So the accountants, if your sales go up or down, is that going to change their monthly fee? Probably not. Advertising. There's zero fixed. That means that if the business is not open, if there's no revenue, there's not going to be any advertising either. That's 100% variable. The rest of them are mixed costs. A portion fixed and a portion variable. And what do we know? We know that when you add the two together, you got to get the total cost. Okay. So let's start filling in some of these boxes. For compensation, we know that the variable cost is 28% of sales. So just take the 9.4 million and multiply times 28%. Well, if that's the total and the variable is 2632, I'm just going to subtract back into the fixed cost. 1597. Okay, utilities. We can back into the fixed component again. Take the 470 away from the total. 244. What's the variable cost as a percentage of sales? You just take the 470 and divide by 9.4 million in this case. Advertising. 100% variable. So take the 9.4 million. That's the sales multiplied times the variable percentage. Get 3%. And of course, 0 plus 282 is 282. Insurance. Fixed is 144. We got to calculate the variable. Take the 944. Multiply times 0.5%. That's 0.005 in decimal form. 47,000. What's the total? Just add them up. 191. Supplies. Well, we have both the costs. We just got to add them together. Fixed variable equals total. Calculate the variable as a percentage of sales. Comes out to 6%. Professional fees. 128 plus 0 is equal to, you guessed it, 128. And the variable component is 0. And for the other selling, general, and administrative expenses, we're going to back into the variable this time. Get 752, and then divide that number by the 9.4 million. Comes out to 8%. Now we're going to add up all of these numbers. And construct a little contribution margin type income statement. Okay, so let's see. Here's my sales revenue. Plug that one in over here. And the variable cost we computed to be 4747 in total. Picked up the wrong number there, folks. It's 9.4 million. F10. How did I know that was wrong? Because I knew this had to be 50.5. The total of the variable costs. Okay? Contribution margin, subtract. These three numbers always could go together. That comes in handy in the next little problem. Adding up to 100%. Fixed cost, 4453. Subtract from the CM. Get 200K. So our tax rate, the proverbial 40%. What's our net income? 120K. And there you have it. There's our little contribution margin format type income statement. Alrighty then. For the next problem, this is a key figure. contribution margin percentage, because that's the number we're going to use in our formulas. All right, so how do we calculate that? Well, what's our variable cost as a percentage of sales here? I got 3968, and I'll divide by 6.2 million. Comes out to 64%. Now, what do we know? We know that the sales are 100%, and that didn't work out very well. Sales are 100%, you got variable cost of 64, therefore the contribution margin percentage must be 36. Yeah? Okay, now once we have that number, we can start working with the formulas. For the break-even sales, we want to take our fixed costs of 2520 and divide by the CM percentage, 36%. Get 7 million. How do we know that's right or not? Well, I'm going to test these numbers in a little while. How much revenue do we need to get 250K of pre-tax income? Let's take our $250,000, add it to the fixed cost, and divide by the CM percentage. Let me coordinate this a little better here. Yeah, now you can see how we got the 7 million. And that's how we get this whacking number, right? What do? We just increased the numerator by 250,000 and divided by the CM percentage. Now, how much revenue do we need to get an IBT of 6%? Take our fixed costs and divide by the contribution margin reduced by the target IBT percentage, or in other words, take this 36% and subtract the 6%, and we get 0.30, 8.4 million. Okay. Next on the hit parade, if we want net income of 160K, what do we need for sales? So you have to gross up the 160. You have to go from net and go backwards to the IBT. How do we do that? We take the net that we want and divide by 1 minus the tax rate. So it'll be 1 minus 0.4 is equal to 0.6. We want to use that number as the IBT. So once you have that number, you go back to this formula here, letter B. What do we do in letter B? We said take the fixed cost of 2520, add the target IBT, divide by the CM percentage, and we get that wacky number, 7.7 million and change. All right. So that's the key for this one. You have to gross up this number. How do you do that? Divide by 1 minus the tax rate to get that number. Once you have that number, you plug it into the formula over here. Just add it to the numerator being the fixed costs. Now what if you want 3.9% of net income as a percentage of sales? Well, again, we have to gross up. We have to take that 3.9 and get to the IBT percentage. How do you do that? Plus 0.039 divided by 1 minus the tax rate again, which is 0.6. So we need 6.5% IBT in order to get to 3.9% of net income. We go back to this formula here. Only this time, instead of deducting 6% from the denominator, we are going to deduct 6.5%. So that would be what? 0.36 minus 0.065. Not enough decimals. Comes out to 29.5. And if we divide the 29.5, that's 0.295 into the fixed cost, we get this number. Now let's see if these proofs work out. Looks like the numbers went in there automatically. All right, so there's our 7 million. And we said that was the break-even point, so that works. Yeah. This is 7694, and we were supposed to get 250K of IBT, so that one worked out. Okay. The 8.4 million is supposed to get us 6% of sales for IBT. So if you plug in the 8.4 million, then you calculate 64% of that, and you get the contribution margin. Deduct the fixed cost, you get 504, and when you divide 504 by 8.4 million, you get 6%, which is what we were shooting for. All right. The next one is what? We wanted, I believe, net income on this one. Yeah, we wanted net income of 160K. So we said we need an IBT of 266 to get there. So here it is. It looks like it worked. So 64%. There's your contribution margin. Fixed is fixed. IBT is 266. 40% of 266 is 106. So it ties in. We got the net income. And finally, the last one, what's the story? We want 3.9%, I believe. Yes, 3.9%. Want that to be the net income as a percentage of sales. So here's the crazy number we came up with. Subtract the variable costs, 64%. Is your CM, contribution margin. Fixed is fixed. IBT is 555. Subtract 40%. You get 333,153, which, if you take that as a percentage of the sales number, you get 3.9%, which is what we're supposed to get. So there you have it. There's my little impromptu video for cost volume. Hopefully there was some enlightenment in there. And I think this is the last one for the semester. So have fun with this, and we'll go from there.